Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a modern house. I have also designed the inside for you, but we'll have to take a look at that at the end of the video. Here are all of the materials that you will need to make your modern house. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. Now that we have all of our stuff, we can get started. So the first thing that we are going to do is work on some of the grey frame of the house. To do that, we're going to begin by placing 9 grey concrete on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I then want you to place a light blue glass block, specifically block, on top. And then I want you to extend that block to the left by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Place a block of quartz to the left. And then extend up by 2, 1, 2. Extend forwards by 2, 1, 2. Extend left by 3, 1, 2, 3. And what we can do is a couple of things. Number one, I want you to extend that third block all the way down to the ground. But I also want you to do a similar thing once we hit the ground. I also want you to extend the other corner down to the ground as well, or I'm actually going to extend up from the ground to meet it. Now that we have this shape right here, I want you to take the side of this quartz shape that we have made that is longer, that is further back than the other one, so not here but here, and I want you to extend back by 13 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then you can extend across. You can extend all the way back to the front of the build like this, and then we can extend each one of the corners down into the ground like so. And this will help us, and of course we can extend the corners upwards too. We don't have to just extend down, and that will give us a nice shape. And once we have constructed the shape right here, we are going to add a little bit more detail to the front of the build. So what you may not know is that all of these glass blocks have to be segmented, and what I mean by that is underneath this last glass block that touches the quartz, I want you to just place 1 grey concrete underneath it. Leave a gap of 2 and then place a grey concrete. Leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then on this 4th block place a grey concrete like this. We want to extend all of those grey concretes down to the ground, so just like this, and I'm going to extend upwards because it's easier for me on bedrock. Using the controller, it's just a little bit faster, and we just want to have something which should look exactly like this. Now, what you can also do if you like, although this is a little bit tricky, is you can join these all together at the bottom using grey concrete, and then you can add another row. However, this right row here is actually going to lead into the house, so I'd recommend adding a row of birchwood planks here. This is quite literally going to be the entrance, and then on the other rows you can add grey concrete. Reason being is because these two sides are windows. You can even add 3 layers of glass, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 like this. You can add 3 layers of glass, and it'd help if you place a row of grey concrete as well. If you place a row of grey concrete that extends horizontally through the build like this, it'll actually help you in placing the glass. So these are windows, as I mentioned. There is one window larger than the other, and the reason for that is because upstairs, if we extrapolate up to here, the left and right side areas that we have now created can be filled in using glass pane. However, the middle is how one will get onto the balcony, so I'd recommend just adding a strip of glass on the left and right side. So as you can see, we have the entrance in the bottom right hand corner, and we have a secondary entrance which is just here, of course, that will lead us out onto the balcony, which isn't yet here, but you guys get the idea. Okay, that rhymed as well. Okay, coming to the right side of the build now, I want you to grab yourself the glass block. We have to extend backwards a little bit. We're going to extend the glass block, as you can imagine. As we grab the glass block, we want to extend it backwards by 2. 1, 2. We then want to place a grey concrete, and we want to extend the grey concrete up by 1. We then want to extend it towards us by 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then you can extend that down to the ground. It's all about making shapes and joining them together, essentially, this build. So as you can see, that is the sort of effect that we are going for. And now that we've done that, we can take the top of the row here and we can extend it backwards by 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can join that down to the ground as well. So we want to just have an entire side like this. So this area has to be divided in a similar way to the front. We're going to begin by adding 2 entire rows of grey concrete at the bottom, just like this. We're then going to come all the way to the top, and we're going to add a row of light blue glass pane underneath the top. We're going to add a row of grey concrete underneath it. And then, along the bottom, we're going to make this pattern. It's dead easy. It's actually similar to what we did on the front. We want to have 2 glass pane, grey concrete, 3 glass pane, grey concrete, 2 glass pane, just like this. And we want to have windows that are 3 rows high. So if we take the grey concrete and we extend it up by 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and we extend horizontally through, and we take the vertical rows of grey and we extend upwards, then we will create windows like this. And then we can completely fill these windows and lower windows all in using light blue glass pane. So you'll be able to see we've actually got, like, in terms of windows, 2, 3, 2. So it's the same as the front essentially, and we can even take a look in a second, but this is what we want to have on the side, and it's just quite a nice shape, and you'll be able to see it's pretty much a mirror of what we have on the front. But here's the thing as well, we actually want to connect it together. So we're going to take the grey concrete here, we're going to extend this down to the ground just like this. Fantastic. We want to have 2 rows of grey concrete extending up from the bottom. This will join to the front and the side as well. We want the same horizontal row of grey concrete that cuts throughout the entire build. We want to have that extend through like this. And not only that, I want to also have the row of grey concrete that we have on the right side up near the top. I want to extend that through as well. So what we can then do is we can simply just fill all of these empty spaces in using light blue glass pane like this. There we go. And we can just completely fill all of these windows in. So that will look pretty good. And now that we have all of those windows filled in, I feel as though that it is time to come to the back part of the house. So let us do some work here. We'll take the top back corner of the house, so this corner right here, and we will extend it to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we can join this all the way down to the ground, like so. So extend it all the way down. There we go, perfect. I also want to cut this area in half. If you basically just take the middle of the area and you cut it in half, you will have a row of 2 on the left and a row of 2 on the right. So we can then fill 2 rows in from the bottom. We can add grey concrete, and then we can add the same horizontal rows of grey concrete that we have on the side of the build. So you can see how this all kind of extends round in kind of like a waffle pattern is how I like to think about it. And then we can fill these windows in using glass pane like this. So all this can just be quite simply filled in like so. And we can have this. So that looks pretty good to me. Not only that, but we have a couple more things to do as well. So we want to take, not the top right corner, actually this is something that we do have to do. I just want to make sure that we can do it correctly. Yeah, we want to take the top corner of this build, and we can actually extend this forwards, and we can join it to the front of the build. So you can join it in kind of like a right angle like this. I'd recommend filling this in with glass, the top of this, but you can fill it in with anything that you like. It might even be a decision that you want to make later on, as a matter of fact. So we'll just have this. We're then going to take some grey concrete, and we want to take underneath the row that we've just made, we kind of like want to count out, and we want to find the third row in. So from like here, we want to go like 1, 2, 3, we want to place 3 grey concrete, and then we want to place light blue glass block, and we want to extend it to the right. So the goal is to extend it all the way to the right where we have the block of quartz like this, and this is going to be an entire area. So now that we've done the top of this area, I want you to take this grey concrete here, which is kind of like in the middle of this entire wall. So you can see this grey concrete that kind of like it kind of like converges on a bunch of other grey concrete. So I want you to extend it to the right. It will join to the block of quartz that we have on the side, and if we were to fill a few rows in with grey concrete extending backwards, you'd be able to see what I actually want to do. So I actually want to have something which should look a little bit like this, right? And the light blue glass block, I want you to find the middle one, which is here. So we've got a row of 7, which means the 4th one in from either side is the middle. And I want you to join it down like this. And again, I kind of want to have some context to this. So I'm just going to fill a couple of walls in on the left and right, and you'll be able to see what I'm getting at. You see, this is a little balcony that you are able to access. So if we have a few rows filled in on the right there, and if we fill a few rows in on the left here using some grey concrete, here we go, then this looks pretty good. What we can then do is completely fill these 2 gaps in here using light blue glass pane, just like this, and that will be perfect. So now that we have done that, we can add some work underneath. So underneath what we have just made, where we have placed the, so like let me just shave a few rows off this so it's a bit easier to see. We actually want to extend the block of quartz area down to the ground that I've kind of extended to make a wall. It actually wants to extend all the way down into the ground, again to give a little bit of context to help a little bit. But the middle row of grey concrete also wants to get extended down to the ground, alright? And this corner here that kind of like extends up towards the roof also wants to get extended down to the ground. You want to add 2 rows of grey concrete to the base here, and then you can fill the middle of these in using light blue glass pane. So these are going to be essentially interior windows. This is actually going to be an entrance. So on the second row of grey concrete, kind of like how we did on the front, right, where we have these 2 rows of birch. I mean, this is kind of going to be the walking space. So that is the front door, and there is also a back door. You can't access the back door any other way than going through the front. So this is actually going to be kind of like a little walkway. I want you to reduce the amount of open space that is here. The way to do it is going to be to extend where we have the vertical row of grey concrete that is set back a little bit in the build. We also want to have that same row of vertical grey concrete on the outside part here. We want to join the bottom 2 rows together, and then we want to make a window using light blue glass pane like this. So that would be perfect. And as a matter of fact, we also do want to alter this space a little bit as well. So to do that, I'm going to place a grey concrete here, just on the very right side, joining the quartz. I want a row of grey concrete that runs all the way down through the build. And this entire row of grey concrete, like this, is quite a long row, right? Like it's quite a tall row. This entire row actually wants to extend across and around, and it wants to extend forwards to the front of the build. It wants to stop 1 row short to where the block of quartz is on the front of the build, and this is actually going to be an exterior wall. So the entire back of the build is quite engrossed used in a lot of grey concrete. It's not just your average kind of like grey and white. It's not that it's not the same shape as it is on the front at all, really. So we want to just fill all of this in, and you'll be able to see how this all kind of like shapes together and pieces together. So we want to have something like this, and the balcony area that we have here, and if we place a row of light blue glass pane on the side of this, then you might get an idea that this is where the entrance is. There's just going to be a double wide entrance just here, or a single wide entrance as it were. The top part of this, the block of quartz area, wants to be filled in using glass pane like so. So just to give you a bit of an idea. Not only that, but there are going to be some walls along the back of here. But first, I feel as though that we should add a bit of a floor in, and we should add some stairs that lead down into the back. I don't just want to kind of like leave it hanging. I want to make it so it's nice and functional looking. So we have the two birch planks here that kind of like extend through, and they create a corridor, and I just want to place a couple of rows of birch stairs just like this extending down, and that will lead you onto the back garden. The boundaries for the back garden, the ones that I've decided, you can feel free to change this, make it bigger, smaller, non-existent if you like. From this back corner of the build here, I'm going to extend forwards by 6 using grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then simply extend across and join to the opposite side. If you want, you can make the side walls taller than the back wall, so we can have something which should look like this. Now that we have done that on this side of the build, we are going to fill the block of quartz area in using, you might be surprised by this, block of quartz. So this is going to be filled in with block of quartz, and I'm just realizing how much of the build we've actually made at this point. We're going to fill the top of the block of quartz area in using glass block. I don't have a reason not to do this, as this is actually going to be a corridor that will lead to a bathroom, some art on the walls, and this will actually lead to the balcony also. What about this area here? What about the entire top sort of part of the build? All of this for me can once again be filled in with glass block, because I'd prefer there to be natural light in the build. I'd rather than adding in weird segments into the top of the roof. I mean, it's already quite varied already. I'm quite happy with this, so feel free to change that as you like, but the entire top of the roof there for me can just be glass. All of the quartz area on the side, so that there's no gap, should be filled in with quartz, just kind of like that, right? Nice and easy. This area of quartz on the front, if you join it together at the bottom and then fill the center of it in using light blue glass pane, then you will create something which looks quite good. We are missing a few things at the moment, but as you can see, this is a lot more detailed than it was. On the front of the build, there is a balcony. The balcony extends from the doors that we created earlier. The thing is, we want to have 2 rows of grey concrete that extend outwards from every front point of the house. So basically, we just want to have 2 entire rows that we can walk around the top front of the house. So where we have this balcony here, we just want to have 2 entire rows of grey concrete that we can just walk around. And if we place some quartz slabs that extend all the way around the grey concrete, then we will have the edge of the balcony. And we also want to place light blue glass pane on top of the quartz block, because it will just, once again, it's just about making it look a little bit better, just kind of like this. What else can we do to make the top of the house look better? We can actually incorporate some quartz slabs to the glass area. So where we have the glass block, we can use quartz slabs, and first of all, we can place a layer of quartz around the base of the glass block, and we can place quartz slabs around the top of the glass block area. So we can do this on the front, and we can do this on the back also, so just like this. Perfect. So on the back, that is looking pretty good, and on the front as well, also looking pretty good. Can you see how that has made such a massive difference? I mean, the house looks so cool like this already. You almost don't really need to add too much else, although we are going to be doing a bit more detailing. So this actually works out quite well. I didn't realize how well it works out. Where we have the balcony up top, we want a similar thing with a decking down below. However, we only want kind of like an L shape, kind of like a right angle shape of 2 rows of birch planks that kind of span around the bottom of the house area. So does that make sense? So like pretty much it's equal to the balcony that we have above, but we don't want this area that kind of like juts out. It's equal in line to the birch that we have already inside the house. Opposite the entrance, which is here. By the way, if you want, you can kind of like add a couple of rows of glass pane to the top of the entrance. We want to have a staircase. So we're going to have just 2 rows of birch stairs extending down. I want to have on the left side of the birch staircase 2 rows of grey concrete that sit on the sides of the staircase. I also want to have 2 rows of grey concrete on the right. However, we're going to extend that upper grey concrete around to the right and join back to the build. And we also want to add another row of grey concrete on top of this just to kind of like add a bit of depth. We're going to fill underneath this in, and we're also going to add another row of grey concrete that extends from the right side here. And how far does it want to extend around? I mean, what we could even do is we could even make this wall a little bit bigger, perhaps, if we wanted to. We could even add like a little bit of a chunk to it. Chunk. And then we can take the side this, maybe we can add, say, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, 5 or 6. We'll leave it at 5, and we might add more. So just like extend the wall out 5 or 6 rows. I'm not actually sure how far I want that yet. We will alter it as things go on. Okay, so I then want you to grab the quartz slab, and from the opposite end of the grey concretes here, I want you to place 1, 2, 3 quartz slab. I then want you to place a grey concrete and extend outwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, perfect. It lines up with the other side. So add a row of grey concrete underneath. Add 3 rows of, or 2 rows of 3 birch stairs leading down into the ground like this. I also want you to grab quartz slabs, and we can work on this area a little bit. So I want you to take just right of the staircase here. I want you to place quartz slabs that lead out and extend right, and we can add just a couple of rows of oak leaves just on top of the empty space, just like this. On the left side, I want you to use quartz slabs, and I want you to place 1, 2, 3 quartz slabs and extend back to the wall. What can we add here underneath the... I guess birch would be the best thing, right? If we add a little bit of birch... No, not there. There, if we add a bit of birch just underneath this area, and if we raise up the grass... just like this, maybe we can add... Yeah, we can add grass underneath there as well, although it won't, it won't really be able to go anywhere. We can add some flowers there later. The area around here, this is just going to be kind of like a path. This is going to be a birch path. We'll add some flowers to this little flower bed here a little bit later on. We are reaching the point in which we don't have very much more to do. On the left side here, we are going to extend the grey concrete area forwards that we have on the left side of the build. We may even... No, we won't shorten this even more than it has. We'll extend 2 rows of grey concrete from the bottom forwards that are equal in length to the grey concrete that we have on the right. We'll dig in the ground, join both of those posts together, place some block of quartz in there, and then we'll have light blue glass block just in front like this. This entire area here has to be dug out. It has to be dug out not once but twice. It's a small pool. We're going to place grey concrete underneath these sides. We'll place like block of quartz where that is necessary. But first, okay, so this is where we're going to grab some different materials. So what don't we need? I don't think we need the birchwood planks and the birchwood stairs, so I'm just going to grab light grey glazed terracotta and water buckets, and I'm going to place glazed terracotta at the bottom of this pool area, just like this. I'm going to place grey concrete underneath these sides. So the grey concrete is going to go underneath the left and right sides wherever grass is exposed. Underneath the back, I'm going to destroy and replace with block of quartz. I might even extend this area down a little bit and place some glass pane in there to shorten it a little. Underneath the glass, I'm actually going to destroy 2 rows, and do I have to? Yeah, I'll have to destroy the side and place a grey concrete there. Underneath the glass, I can place light grey glazed terracotta, and then I can place more glass. And this is just, oh, and also I'll have to just extend. Well, here we go. I guess we do need the birch. So, let me get the glass gone again, and let me grab more birch, and we can add stairs down here, and to the sides we can add some birchwood planks. Then we can fill the pool in using water. It's just a very small pool, just like this. We'll submerge the stairs too, and it will just end up looking a little something like this. Pretty happy with how that looks. What else can we do? Honestly, there's not a massive amount more. We can use some leaves around the house, we can use poppies, we can use lanterns. So I'm going to use poppies, and I'm going to fill in this little grassy area that we have on the front left hand side. I'm going to add some leaves in front of these windows here. That lead to the entrance. I'm not going to cover the entrance way. I'm going to do the same here, just on this side. You can even add leaves to the second level if you like, if you adhere to those same sort of rules that we kind of just created, in which we don't cover the entrance. Makes it look a little bit more natural, a little bit more embedded in nature. I like lanterns quite a bit, especially underneath this part. It just makes it a little bit lighter. I'm going to add them up top here as well, as to be parallel. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, quite honestly, this is the house. We've completed it. There's no more to do, step by step at the very least. But what I can do is I can decorate the inside of the house for you, and I can show you what this can look like if you do decorate the inside in the same sort of way as me. Or maybe I'll give you a bit of inspiration, or maybe it'll give you absolutely no feelings whatsoever. So I'll be back in a moment once I have completed the inside, and I can show you the garden and everything all together. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what your modern house will look like once it has been 100% fully completed. As you can see, not much has changed on the front, but if we swivel around the back, you'll be able to see that we have added a little bit of a garden. We now have a seating area, we have a little barbecue, and we have just a very simple garden just to the right with some flowers. We also have decorated the balcony a little bit in the fact that we now have a seating area and a couple of plants, and I would say that that is where the changes for the outside end. Just a very simple garden that has been added. Now, if we come inside, there have been some more drastic changes. For instance, the lower level of the house, we now have a little bit of a kitchen area. We haven't designed this to be survival based, but you absolutely could if you want to. We have a kitchen area, and we have kind of like a little relaxing seating area with a bookshelf so that we could read and enjoy our morning breakfast, not to be confused with the evening breakfast. And we can come upstairs as well. So upstairs we have a little landing area here where we can have some music. We have a bedroom, there's only one, so we have a bed, we have kind of like a little table, we have a wardrobe and a television that leads out onto the front balcony, of course. If we swing around, we have a hallway, and we can either go onto that back balcony with the seating area, or we can come into the bathroom, in which we have a bath, a toilet, and just some towels and stuff. So that is what the house will look like. If it's decorated in this sort of way, then you'll find that you've got a little bit of a limited space, although you will be able to decorate it in such a way that it is quite realistic. I mean, for one person anyway, but just since you've got like the one bedroom, but there's absolutely everything that one person would need in a house. And I hope that you guys have taken some inspiration or have enjoyed seeing it at its potential. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And that's it. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. It helps me in the channel out loads and loads. If you would like to see more stuff by me, subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. And if you want to check out anything else by me that I've already made, check out the card system description below in the top of the comment section for more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.